I'm able to do roughly $199,793 with Google Ads alone, literally every single month. And this number is not a number I just kind of got out of thin air. If you see here right on my screen, I'm currently looking at all of the e-commerce brands Google Ads account, which I'm currently handling under my Google Ads agency, Your Marketing. We can see for this year specifically, I'm just looking at the first 7 months of this year because I don't want to look at the other months. Just within the first 7 months, from January 1st of 2022 to 7/31st, which is July 31st of 2022, we have done here roughly $1.03 million. So it's $1,028,228 with this specific ad account. And this contains multiple different e-commerce brands. Moving on yet to another personal e-commerce brand. And again, this is just one of the many I'm currently handling. This one has done roughly $88,200. So to be specific, $88,188. And the final one I want to show you guys is this one. This is actually a student e-commerce brand, which has all of my current strategies. And this brand has done roughly $292,000 at almost a 7x ROAS. Now, keep in mind, these are only the e-commerce brands that I currently want to go over, because if we go over all of the e-commerce brands I'm handling, the number will be way above 200,000 or even 500,000 for that matter, and we'll be here all day just looking at my stats. And this doesn't count, by the way, all of those e-commerce brands which I don't personally currently have access to that are still using my strategy. So what is exactly the main reason why I'm able to do such big numbers with Google Ads, that too consistently month in and month out? Because as you can see right here with this e-commerce brand currently running at almost a 7x ROAS, and if we look at the ROAS value right here, there are ups and downs, but overall the ROAS is absolutely insane. The next one right here, one of my personal e-commerce brands, also same thing here, up and down with the ROAS, but still a 4.12 ROAS this year, running at a very profitable rate with barely any kind of work. I mean, with this specific e-commerce brand, I spend less than 10 minutes a day just looking at. And finally, with all of these e-commerce brands under my Google Ads agency, Your Marketing, these come and go because again, not every e-commerce brand works with me personally forever, but nonetheless, the current brands I'm handling all kind of accumulate to $1 million in revenue at a 6.17x ROAS. What is the exact secret behind these results? Now, let me tell you that most of the e-commerce brands out there, including your e-commerce brand probably, are basically primed for success if, of course, there is search volume for the products that you are currently selling. And what that actually means is, and by the way, that's actually good news for you because your e-commerce brand might already be fully primed for success. So the main issue is you're just not able to understand how to scale your e-commerce brand to the next level, how to make it so that you get that success month in and month out, especially when it comes to Google Ads. Now, to be honest with you, there are literally only 4 specific things I'm really doing with all of these e-commerce brands, these clients e-commerce brand, which if you're doing currently $30,000 or more per month in revenue with Google Ads, or just in general, you need a little bit of extra help scaling to the next level, go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can possibly work together and make that happen. But there's really only 4 different things, as I like to say, phases and situations I'm taking all of these e-commerce brands through, which kind of lets them release their massive potential, reach these levels of profitability at very big scales. And we're gonna be going over all 4 of those phases in this video. The first kind of phase starts up with the actual landing page. So that is phase number 1. Every e-commerce brand I work with has to go through this landing page phase. The second phase, and this phase, by the way, has multiple different phases. It's all related to products. So these sub phases underneath this main phase of products include the product testing phase, the product profitability phase, and the product scaling phase. So it's 3 subdivided phases inside of one major phase. The next phase then, it's called the back end optimization phase, which finally leads into the actual stopping the leaks phase. And I'll be going over each one of these very shortly. But let's start off with the first phase, which is the landing page phase, and it's the optimization with the landing page phase. So exactly what happens during this phase, what am I doing for all of these e-commerce brands to then let these brands achieve results like the ones you just saw on my screen. So with the landing page, what you want to understand is every landing page, despite the style, despite how it's overall laid out, needs to follow certain different criteria. The first criteria is that that landing page is fast, meaning less than 3 seconds. I mean, in 2022, 2023 and onwards, you can't get away without a landing page that is fast, period. There's nothing you can do to capture a person's attention more than have a landing page that is very fast, very smooth. That's just something that you need to do. It's mandatory, by the way, you can't get away with. But along with being fast, the second thing a good landing page needs to have, especially when it comes to Google Ads, is that the landing page has crystal clear, high quality images. I mean, the days of just finding something on Google, making it all blurry and not really caring about it are officially gone. Sorry to break it to you, but Google itself is gonna suspend you very quickly if it finds you doing that. And trust me, Google finds out very quickly, just based on my experience. But again, no more of those weak, blurry images that define your products, because again, with Google Ads, to find success like at this scale, which I just showed you, you need to take that extra step into getting those high quality, crystal clear images. Now, I'm not saying you need to hire a professional world-class photographer, but you definitely need to make sure your sourcing agent or your supplier is at least supplying you good images for the product. Number 3 thing that every good landing page should have is, of course, search engine optimization. I mean, there's no way around it, especially if you use Google Ads. You just gotta do SEO for your titles and your descriptions. Number 4 thing that a good landing page should have are the reviews. Now, I'm gonna go over to my legendary example of 3D printers, because again, if you're one of my OG followers, you know just how in love I am with 3D printers. For whatever reason, I still have not figured out yet. But if we look at some of the main examples of 3D printers of those brands appearing in the front, we can see exactly what a good, properly optimized landing page looks like when it comes to Google Ads, and also one of the reasons why they're doing so well with Google Ads. You feel free to do research into these brands, by the way, if you don't believe what I'm doing. But by the way, a lot of the things these brands follow are also what I am doing with these e-commerce brands I just showed you the results of, and everything is just practically laid out very similar to these brands. So first one is the Prusa3D.com brand right here. We can see a very unique layout, a very unique style, and everything is very fast. I mean, this landing page loaded in about 2 seconds or so. So already we can see that the website itself should be pretty fast. Now, looking at the titles and everything, we can see this title is not fully search engine optimized. However, they have everything else going right, and most likely this brand keyword right here, a lot of people are actually searching for. So that's why they can get away with having search engine optimized keyword in this manner. But nonetheless, looking at all of these specific things within their description, first thing I like is that their descriptions are very detailed. Also, what you should be doing, and also what I am doing for all of the e-commerce brands I'm currently handling, and one of the reasons why I'm doing over about $200,000 every single month with Google Ads. But we can see the images, everything. They have a very nice video just for this product on its own. Their images, very high quality, crystal clear, and basically everything a person looking in this market, looking at buying this product, would really want to see. So they really have everything kind of laid out, and also their reviews. They have a review section of both good reviews and bad reviews. This is one thing a lot of e-commerce brands are still failing. They're only including the good reviews and completely getting rid of the bad ones. You never want to do that. You want to make sure that all the people that are reading these reviews have sort of like a holistic view at your reviews, because you know, to be honest with you, nobody is dumb. They know exactly how truthful you are, how truthful your brand is, if all you have are just 5-star reviews. So always make sure to mix and match, but overall make sure that your website is trustworthy, like this one, those trust badges, and everything is just unique and very properly laid out. Next website we want to look at is Toybox. Now, another website which is basically a normal Shopify store, nothing too crazy about this e-commerce brand, but just how everything is laid out, starting from their images, very unique images with their brand's logo right on the product itself. Their title right here on the product page, you might think that this is not search engine optimized, but they're not even using that for Google Shopping Ads itself. As you can see, the product title here is much different than what it is on the product page. In addition, they have a very nice quality video right here. So one similarity you saw was the big brands right here had images for their product. So that's another thing that we are looking into doing more and more often for a lot of the e-commerce brands we're working with, and also my own e-commerce brands, hence why I'm able to do this much amount of volume per month with Google Ads alone. And their description, very compact, very straightforward with properly optimized keywords. Again, search engine optimized keywords are what they are including. And then the reviews, both good reviews as well as bad reviews. So it's sort of like an overall very good approach towards this product page, hence why even with a very competitive keyword, they're able to rank more in the front. So that kind of covers it for the first phase of what I'm taking every e-commerce brand through. I'm making sure, again, to recap, that the website and the landing page is fast. They really have crystal clear images, and specifically the image that we're using on Shopping Ads is extremely clear. They have search engine optimized titles. If they don't, I'm going in and I'm kind of fixing it up myself. And also the reviews are on point, not just all 5-star reviews, and they actually have reviews. So Toybox right here doesn't have the review kind of stars right here, which I think is a bad thing with Toybox. They should definitely improve it, especially since they do have reviews right down here. But overall, it should be a very simple, professional, straightforward landing page. That's literally all you need to do 200,000, 500,000, even $1 million a month in revenue with Google Ads. Moving on now to the second phase with all of those subdivided phases, which is the product phase. Now, when it comes to the products, I've already made a lot of videos on product testing and all sorts of stuff like that on my channel, so I'm not gonna go too in depth into it. In fact, you can find a whole Google Ads playlist kind of containing every video from start to finish about Google Ads, which will help you scale to $1 million or more per month. But when it comes to the phases of products, I like to take every product, regardless of what niche that e-commerce brand is in, through 3 distinctive phases. The first phase is called the testing phase. Phase number 2, profitability phase. Phase number 3, scaling phase. Let's start off with a strategic approach towards the testing phase. Exactly what I'm doing when I'm actually launching a given product with the testing phase. So the testing phase is really nothing crazy. You really only have 2 different options going about the testing phase. So the first option is for those people with a brand new ad account, you just started your Google Ads account. In this case, you want to launch 2 different testing campaigns, and this strategy, again, pretty much the same as what I've always said throughout the years. One general testing campaign should be a high bid campaign because these are both standard shopping campaigns. The second general testing campaign should be a low bid campaign. So this is kind of the main general testing strategy. This is what I call the 2-1 launch strategy, ideal for those newer ad accounts. Now, what do you do if you already have an established ad account? You have over 50 conversions recorded on that Google Ads account. So with this, for testing, I recommend you launch a Performance Max campaign. One Performance Max campaign with no target ROAS, just all of your products put inside this PMax. Nothing crazy, no segmentation, no weird equations for the ROAS or whatever else you think you can possibly think of. Just a very simple Performance Max campaign with all the products, no target ROAS, as simple as that. But in addition to that, you want to launch one low bid campaign, which is a standard shopping campaign at around 10 cents or so. So with this, a little bit of a different strategy, but that's essentially what you do with testing, nothing else. And in this phase, your main goal is to first of all test all those products, find those winners and losers, but also kind of make your way into getting more and more data, good data for your ad account, because eventually this is going to lead you to the second phase, which is the second subdivided phase of this main product phase called the profitability phase. So in this phase, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're trying to find out what the winning products are versus the losing product. So you're going to launch 2 separate campaigns, both Performance Max with no target ROAS set, and one of them will be for winning products, so all those products with more than 4 consistent sales in the recent time period. So don't find a product that you got sales like 2 years ago and it was consistent 2 years ago and it got you 4 sales or more. That does not work. You got to find a product within the last 30 to 60 days that's been getting you consistent sales, more than 4 at least. So those products go inside the winners Performance Max campaign, and the rest, which you had to exclude for whatever reason and they're just not winning products, you put inside the losers campaign. But the main goal here that you want to keep in mind always is that profitability is king. So that means you still want to be strict when it comes to determining whether a product should continue to run or not within a given campaign. But here, you should be even more strict because this is all about profits. It's not about testing. These 2 campaigns should be only profitable. That's your main goal. If they're not, your main goal should be to get them to profitability. But this kind of brings me to the third approach towards this main phase of products, which is the scaling phase. And taking a strategic approach towards scaling, very simple. You're going to launch one more Performance Max campaign, which is going to be called the Mega Winners Performance Max campaign with no target ROAS set and a minimum budget of $100 to $200 a day. By the way, the same thing I'm doing for all of these e-commerce brands I'm working with, but with this specific campaign, only those products with 10 sales or more will go inside. So nothing too crazy, just 10 sales or more, you put it right inside this campaign. And that's pretty much gonna cover all of those 3 major phases that you need to take every product through. And by the end, you're not only gonna be testing your products thoroughly, but you're also gonna be scaling those winners to those 100K, 200K, 500K per month revenue numbers. But now this kind of should transition us into the back end phase, because by this time you already know how to test, you know how to make it profitable, you know how to scale. What about the extra stuff? So this is what I like to call the back end phase. This is the phase where basically we take a strategic approach in the back end. We try to figure out exactly what needs to be optimize in terms of the product data and all sorts of stuff like that. So with the back end stage, here's exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking a very strategic approach. I'm starting off with the feed. So the Google Merchant Center feed, I'm optimizing all of the errors within the diagnostic section for these brands. I'm optimizing the conversion rates because the back end includes conversion rate optimization. You cannot find good success with Google Ads, at least at this scale, profitably, with having a very bad conversion rate. Now, what a good conversion rate is gonna depend on per niche. That's the only thing that really depends. But overall, you should definitely try to be as high as possible. You wanna always beat your own record. So if you were 1% a year ago, try to aim at 2% or 3% this year and so forth. So don't really compare your brand to other brands. Just focus on your own conversion rates, how to make them better, etc. But in addition to that, I'm really focusing on optimizing the Google Merchant Center. There's a whole bunch of different ways to optimize the Google Merchant Center. I have a whole bunch of videos on that, so I'm not gonna go too in depth into it, but things like using those promotions and those programs that Google Merchant Center offers, like shopping scorecard experience program, the promotions section itself with the ability to add promo codes and all sorts of stuff like that. It's your responsibility as a good e-commerce store owner to make use of this, because I can guarantee you, if you do it properly, this is gonna be the reason why you add an extra percentage in your conversion rate, which then improves your sales significantly. It could take you up to 2x to 5x your profits and your overall revenue number. So very important to optimize the back end, starting from the feed, working your way down with whatever is included in the back end. But this should kind of lead you more into this last phase, which I always take all the e-commerce brands through, which is called the fixing the leaks phase. Now, to put it in simple words, it's basically just thinking of your e-commerce brand as a bucket with holes. And obviously, if you try to fill up a bucket with holes, what's gonna happen is that it's gonna leak water from everywhere. And that's your e-commerce brand right now, because a lot of the traffic, believe it or not, you're only converting about 1 to 2% or whatever your conversion rate is. So imagine if you get 100,000 people on your website every single day, that means you're only converting 1% to 2% of that. So 1% of 100,000 is only 1,000. So 99,000 people just left your website without purchasing a single thing. That is a big number right there. So instead of just being happy with the 1,000 sales that you got that day, you want to kind of work a little bit harder to get more than that, because it is entirely possible, because at this point, you're just wasting money on those 99,000 individuals. So what you want to do in order to fix those leaks within the bucket is to do things like retargeting, effective retargeting flows. You want to do retargeting via Google Shopping itself. So your Google Shopping campaigns, especially standard shopping, add some audiences in to make it hot plus cold traffic targeting. You want to do some dynamic retargeting. You want to also do Facebook retargeting. Don't just rely on Google. Use everything that you can and figure out where your audience is. So if you are kind of dealing with more of the older woman, maybe Pinterest might also be good for you. So you want to do Pinterest retargeting and stuff like that. Just figure out where your audience hangs out and then do retargeting on those platforms. In addition, you should definitely take care of those email flows. Ideally, the main ones I suggest are abandoned carts and the welcome series. That's what we're implementing here with these brands. And by the way, those are just the basic ones. You want to have everything as much as possible. You want to also do SMS remarketing, because again, SMS, it's basically a necessity in 2022 and onwards for every e-commerce brand out there. But once you do them repeatedly over and over and over again for your e-commerce brand, because again, doing these things once is not going to cut it, because it can only get you so much results. You want to always be optimizing these processes right here. You want to be making a better and more suitable for your e-commerce brand. But once you do it over and over, you're going to find out some things that works, other things that don't work, and then you're going to be able to scale your brand based on those things that work. So you want to kind of do everything in a systematic manner, but definitely take your e-commerce brand throughout these 4 phases, because this is exactly what has been helping me do over $200,000 every single month, day in and day out, for the first half of 2022. And this is the same thing I'm going to be doing for the next half. So obviously these results will continue, and of course it's going to only get better due to Q4. But again, if you're running an e-commerce brand that does about $30,000 or more per month in revenue from Google Ads alone or in general, and you need a little bit of extra help scaling your e-commerce brand to the next level, go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can possibly make that happen. But if you found any type of value in this video, smash that like button and smash that subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video.